Now, problem number 4 is the actual application of the principle of boiling point elevation or boiling point rise in cases wherein your solids in solutions have concentration other or higher than 10%. As much as possible, we want the concentration to be even less than 5% for our values to be acceptable, because then our solutions are said to be dilute. And you have also learned that if the solution is dilute, its behavior is comparable to that of water. Now, in this case, we are given an evaporator, which is to concentrate 5,217 kilograms per hour of a 25% solution of sodium hydroxide in water entering at 60 degrees Celsius to a product of 50% solids. Now, the pressure of the saturated steam that is being used as heating medium is 172.4 kilopascal, and the pressure in the vapor space of the evaporator is 12.7 kilopascal. So you have to be ready with your steam table so you can get later on the corresponding saturation temperature at this indicated pressure, operating pressure of your evaporator. That's the pressure in the vapor space. Now you are also given the overall heat transfer coefficient, which is 1740 watt per square meter Kelvin. In this problem, you are asked to determine the steam economy, or one of the performance measures of the evaporator, which is the evaporator economy, known also as steam economy. Now, for us to be able to solve this problem, so I have to stop sharing here. We need to write down what particular information can we use. Wait, class, huh? Wait. I need to share to you the board. Okay. Now, if you can see the board already, we need to write down the information that we can get from the given problem. So we'll start with the given. So the given in the problem is that I will not show to you anymore the slides, so we will be able to save time in stop sharing and then sharing again. So your feed in the evaporator is 5,217, okay, kilogram per hour. So if we will have the evaporator drawn as a box, your feed here is 5,217 kilogram per hour. Now you have the vapor and you have the saturated liquor. And let's say you have the steam here. I'll just light it here because it's crowded on the other side. And you have the condensate. And let's say this is the vapor space of our evaporator. So a simple schematic of our refrigerator, this one. Okay, so the feed is 5,217 kilogram per hour. So that's so far what I can get from the first statement. Now it is containing 25% NaOH and it is at 60 degrees Celsius. So we can write here XF is 25% NaOH at 60 degrees Celsius. So this is 0.25, and your TF is 60 degrees Celsius. These are the given information for your feed. Now it is to be concentrated to a liquor having 50% solids. So this XL here is 0.5. And by the way, this feed contains, so I will write here, the feed contains NaOH. It's in water. So that's our feed. Now the vapor space pressure, I'll just write it here because I cannot anymore fit it there. Normally we write the operating pressure above the vapor space of our evaporators. In our case, the pressure is 12.7 kPa. So this is 12.7 kPa. And the overall heat transfer coefficient is 1,740. So I'll write it here, 1,740 watt per square meter Kelvin. And you are given the pressure of the steam also. And it is having a value of 172.4 kPa. Okay. So since this is the slide that I am sharing, I'd like you to go over what I have written in terms of the given information as I read the problem again. So just in case I have missed out something in there. So you're given an evaporator that is used to concentrate 5,217 kilogram per hour of a 25% solution of NaOH in water entering at 60 degrees Celsius to a product having 50% solids. The pressure of the saturated steam is 172.4 kilopascal, and the pressure in the vapor space of the evaporator is 12.7 kilopascal. The overall heat transfer coefficient is 1,740 watt per meter squared per Kelvin. You are to calculate the steam economy. So the required information here is the steam economy. Anyone who can tell me what steam economy is? Based on what we have discussed last meeting, what is steam economy? It's what? Anyone?
Kilogram vaporized over kilogram steam used, Miss.
Kilogram water vaporized. Correct? Correct. Per kilogram steam used. Correct, Sarah? If you're going to represent this in terms of the variables that we have here, that would be what? Kilogram water vaporized over kilogram steam used. If translated into variables that are appearing in our schematic diagram, that would be what? Anyone?
V over S, Miss.
Very good. So that would be V over S. The water vaporized is represented as V, and the kilogram of steam used is represented as S. So our steam economy is V over S. So let's be guided by this because this is our goal. Now, since we want to have the V, we need to do material balance. Since we want to know the S, we need to do both material balance and energy balance. And since our solid in our feed is 25%, it's greater than 10%, then we cannot neglect PPR. We are to consider PPR. So now we will go to the real meat of this particular meal. If you're eating a meal, this is your main course. You're so far only now having the appetizer at the beginning. So we will do the overall material balance. So if we will do the overall material balance, our feed is equal to the vaporized liquid, that's water, and the thickened liquor. Okay? Now the problem gives us that the feed is 5,217 and the vapor, we do not know. That is why we're trying to find it. And the same thing with the liquor. So we can do anything for now. This becomes our equation 1. Then we do component balance. When you do component balance, it's based on your overall material balance. You simply multiply the streams by their corresponding mass fractions. So your weight percentages, so V, Y, plus L, X, L. Now, normally, as I have mentioned, this is usually 0. The problem is silent about entrainment. We don't have any solids going over to our vapor or carried over by our vapor. So our feed, which is 5,217, we multiply to 25% solids. Our liquor, which we do not know, we multiply to 50%, giving us a liquor value of 'Anyone? You be ready with your calculators there because we will not be able to finish the things that we're going to finish if you're not going to help out here. So your liquor is 2,608.5. Please check my value. So this is kilogram per hour. Knowing the liquor to be that, all you have to do is subtract it from the feed value, which is 5,217. And that should give you also 2,608.5 kilogram per hour. So look that your liquor and your vaporized water are just having the same value. So let me check. Again, we will do the checking. So that's it. So we have 2,605.8 for the thickened liquor, and V for the vaporized water. So we have already answered the V. We need that in our V over S. Then we go to our energy balance. Now, when we do energy balance, your F, HF, if you recall, should be added to S, lambda S, and it should be equated to L, HL, plus V, HV. Okay? We cannot anymore have this zeroed. We cannot change this to lambda V because our solution has a boiling point rise. We're only allowed to do that particular procedure if our solution has negligible boiling point. So this is our guide. So let's, based on what is provided to us, let's check what we have already. So we have this. What else? We have this. We have this in terms of the given information. The rest we do not know. So all we know are the values of the streams. Now we're going to get the values one by one. So we'll start with the HF. Okay, finding the HF, you need to go to that particular diagram we call the concentration enthalpy diagram for NaOH. Okay, so I will have to stop share here because I need to go to that particular diagram. Okay, so you could see that particular diagram now. This is the enthalpy concentration diagram. It needs the mole fraction of NaOH for whatever stream we are referring to, may it be the feed, may it be the liquor. So in that case, here in the problem, we have 25% weight fraction NaOH. So this is the 25%. That's where my cursor is right now, 0.25. Now the feed is at 60 degrees Celsius. Now if you go up, this is the 65. This is the 38. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 65. So then the 60 must be somewhere below this one. So if we have from 38, let me start with the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 divisions. So from 38.5 to 65.6, each division is divided by 5 is around 6 degrees Celsius. So from 38, we're going to check where is that curve on 60 degrees. So if it's around 6, then if this is 5.6, then the 60 degrees Celsius will be somewhere here or a little bit down here on the 150 degrees Fahrenheit curve. I hope you're following through, because I'm trying to divide the distance between each of the curves here, since they are equally distanced, from 38.7 to 65.6, and that's 5 point something here, rounded off to 6. If this is 6.5 for 65, then the 60 might be somewhere here, a little bit down here, okay? On the 150 degree Fahrenheit. That would be the 60 degrees Celsius. And I'm on the 0.25%, so I go up and project it here until I reach the 150 degrees F. And since my problem is giving us SI units, I'd like to go here to the right and read the corresponding value of the enthalpy. So it's a little bit below the 250 because it's here. So I'd like to approximately give it a value of 240 kilojoule per kilogram of your solution. So I go back to our board. This one I'll put as 240 kilojoule per kilogram. So I'll go back to that equation that we have, and I will now check the enthalpy of the feed because I was able to determine it already. So that's the HF of the feed. The next thing I do is I will get the HL and the HV. Now, before you can get the HL and the HV class, you need to know the boiling point of the solution. Need to know the boiling point of the solution because that temperature will be used in the concentration enthalpy diagram together with the solid content so that you will be able to find the correct enthalpy in the case of the liquor. In the case of the vapor, you need it in computing for the superheat of your vapor, which I will be showing to you in a little while. So one by one, I'd like to go first to HL. I need to know the boiling point of my solution. So we will go back to what we have learned regarding determining the boiling point of the solution, knowing the saturation temperature. The saturation temperature based on the operating pressure of your column. So if we go back to our problem, our column is operated at 12.7 kilopascal. So what you're going to do, you go to your steam tables and get the corresponding saturation temperature at this pressure. So I'd like to indicate it here in our solution that you need to go to the steam table. So from the steam tables for a pressure of, what's that, 12.7 kPa. It should be capital kPa. You need to determine the T saturation. And you're going to get that from the steam table. So if you have your steam tables with you there, you are to solve for the saturation temperature at that indicated pressure. So I'm looking also on my steam tables now. And please do so, because when you are given the quiz, it's also under time constraint. So you have to be well versed on how you're going to use your steam table. So for a pressure value of 12.7, where's the pressure? Okay, here it is. 12.7. What I have here in my table is just 12.349. So I'd like to more or less approximate, but there's a need for me to interpolate. To save us some time, I'll just approximate the temperature, the Tsat, to be, if this is 12.3, and I have here to 51, probably 51. So I'd like to approximate this one. So I'll place approximation only because I don't want to interpolate. But in your case, if there's a need for you to interpolate, interpolate. You cannot approximate. This is just to illustrate to you the procedure. So your Tsat for this is around 51 degrees Celsius, taken from the steam table for this particular pressure. So this is my Tsat. Now I want to go to that During chart. If you could remember, I need the saturation temperature so that I will know the corresponding boiling point rise, so that I will know the boiling point of my solution. So I'd like to go to that now using this 51 degrees Celsius and the content solid of the liquor, which is 50%. So I'll write here, using Tsat equal to 51 degrees Celsius and an XL of 0.5 from the rings chart. You need to determine the boiling point of the solution. So we will do that. Okay, I will get that During chart in here. This is your During chart. I go to the one you have in your handbook. But this one is in Fahrenheit. I don't want that. This one is also in Fahrenheit. This one is for NaCl. So we don't have any choice, but we need to convert the temperature that we have in, sorry class. Okay, sorry. I clicked it accidentally. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, I have only 10 minutes left. So we have, just click again. We just need to click again. There was that. Our temperature is 51, right? Where is that? Cannot find my board. Okay. Our saturation temperature is 51. So we need to convert this to, stop share. Share again. We need to convert this to Fahrenheit. So can you please convert this centigrade or Celsius to Fahrenheit? So this would be, is my value correct? 123.8 degrees F?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so that would be the temperature that we're going to use in the chart, because our charts, whether you're using the one in McCabe or in John Publis, are all in Fahrenheit. even the handbook is in Fahrenheit. So you have to convert first your Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit. So this is our Fahrenheit temperature. I like to use the 124 so that it won't be hard for us to look it up in the Durins chart. So I'll go to the Durins chart. 124. So recall that 124. So 100. This is 150. This is 125. So a little at the back of 125. So that's 124 for a percentage solids composition of 0.5. So the 0.5 class is this. I'd like to increase the view. Wait. Okay, so this is your 50. This is the 50. I'll go down until I will reach 125. So too big. Okay, this is better. So you have, as long as I can see the 50. So you have a 124 here, a 124 here, and you go up until you reach the 0.5. This is the 0.5. Go down until I have the 1. This is 125. I'll go a little bit below that. And then read here the corresponding boiling point of the solution. That's more or less 190 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll just place here 190 degrees Fahrenheit. So 50, then you stop on the 24, 25, 50 per 123, 124. 50%, 124 degrees F. So somewhere here. Okay, and then read. So let's say, let's approximate that to 190. So we'll go back to our board and we will place the boiling point of the solution. And that's the T sub 1. We label at T sub 1 to be more or less equal to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? Now, knowing this 190 degrees Fahrenheit, you can now get the HL from the concentration diagram. So using T1, more or less equal to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and XL equal to 0.5, you'll be getting HL from the concentration diagram. So that concentration diagram is this. This one. So we have for 190, so this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. So for 190 degree Fahrenheit, boiling point of the solution, that's the temperature that we use, the boiling point of the solution, we will have to go to that part wherein we have the 50% solids. Oh my, we have here. That's 50% solids. And you read the enthalpy here. Okay, 50% and that's it. So more or less 500 kilojoule per kilogram. Okay? So we go to our board again. 500. So this one is 500 kilojoule per kilogram. Okay? Now I'll go to my other chart. Then I know already the HL. The HL. Okay? Next is the HV. The HV will now have the saturated vapor enthalpy plus the superheat. Okay, what is that superheat mean? So I will show to you how you determine the HV. So we go to, Okay, we'll go to the next. So HV. In 3 minutes, I will be cut. So we will just use the same link. Go back. So we have HV is equal to Hg plus the Cp of steam times the BPE. Take note of this, the formula. The saturated vapor enthalpy, if you have the superheat, will be added to the product of the Cp and the BPE. Okay? So for our steam, we will have the Cp equal to 1.8. Okay, 1.8. The BPE is the difference between the two temperatures. But since these are in Fahrenheit, you have to convert this into Celsius. So we will convert it now. Convert this into Celsius. So you have 190 minus 32 times 5 divided by 9. That should be rounded off to 88 degrees Celsius. This is for the boiling point temperature of your solution, which has already have the BPE. But we need the saturation temperature of the steam. So we need this one. Alright, sorry, BPE, sorry class, it's BPE, so we don't need yet the temperature of the steam, but rather it would be the saturation temperature and this. So 88 minus 51, that's your BPE. 88 minus 51. So you have now the superheat. We call this the superheat. 1.8 times 88, the boiling point of the solution, minus the saturation temperature. The Hg will be taken from the steam table. So I would like to approximate that. So from steam table at the pressure, which is, what's the pressure? 12.7 kPa. You will need to get the Hg. Okay, and this Hg you will place here. So if you have your steam tables there, we will get the corresponding Hg values. Okay, let's see. Hindi ko mautod din. We will have it substituted there. 12.7. Hawkeye. Hg 259.